Welcome back, YouTube, and today I'm going to share with you guys a new pickup. I got another custom-made pair from Viberemakelab, and this time it is the Air Jordan 1985 sample. And these samples you actually see in like the old Japanese catalogs. I believe there's one from 1997. I'll throw a photo in for reference, and they came with the creamy laces, but I actually swapped in the black ones. These are a little wider too. That came actually with my Chicago Vibe pair. So it was like it worked out really nicely, and I just did a quick switch on those. But again, the craftsmanship is amazing. Are they perfect, identical to the OG? No, but they are really nice. I'm very happy with them. As you can see, the heel looks really good, nice and straight, just beautifully done. Nice leather. Good shape across the laces system. Even they were a little tighter even with the cream laces that came, and the tongue tag. And today we're going to show you guys a comparison. Last time it was with the TY1 factory with my Chicago's, and these were basically constructed, as I mentioned before, with the BY and TY factory. So it's a little bit of each combination. So today we're actually going to do the BY factory, and I have the Royals to do that head-to-head. And that's what we're going to hop into next. All right, so here we are with our toe-to-toe shot, or front-end shot, you could say. And on the left side, you have the BY Factory Air Jordan 1 Royal. And since these are obviously not really a shoe that you could hunt down, and that's one reason why I really wanted to get this colorway from Viberemakelab, is the sample here. And the leather on this, I would say, is definitely like you see the little thicker, a little more white edge. This is still pretty thick, but this leather, the cut of it, definitely reminds me more of the TY1. When you get into the BY factory, the details are a little different. Not saying that the TY leather isn't good, but it just looks a little different. I really like the white edges on like the BY factories. They look really nice. So this, yeah, it's more similar, you could say, to that. This is a size 13, and this is a size 11. So you'll have that little bit of a scale difference, but you can just see how like as I unlace them, like even the Retro 85 doesn't have this. The Retro 85, like it just lays bulky. You can see how this is more narrow. I think from the Chicago's being worn, and I wore them previously. They were from the previous owner. I found them on eBay. You get to see how it really lays out nicely compared to the original. You know, it's kind of got that nice narrow. Everybody's like, oh, the laces are too tight, but no, they're not. It's just kind of the layout of the shoe. So it really, the construction, it's amazing. The cuts, there's going to be very small variances here and there. And again, you'll see the pounded out texture, and it's a little more pronounced here on the Vibe Remake. So yeah, that's definitely a thing you'll see. And this is, like I mentioned, it is a little wider, we'll see on the side panels. But as far as front end shot, it looked great. The leather difference, shape is very similar. Here's the tongue tags. So you can see, you get in there close again, and you can see it's kind of woven. And the original, I actually had the TY1 I traded for my game used Air Jordan 5s. These don't pop quite as much, but you can see it's got a little wider weave, just not as bright blue. This is a little more dulled on the BY factory. Just kind of how this Royal looks. And actually, like with that one, the TY, I think it was a TY or TY1, the blues were different, so there was different variances, even the tongue tags back then. So this could be definitely more of the TY1 style as far as the shade of blue. And next, let's look at heel to heel. All right, so you can see the heel is really nice and straight. Love it. Retro 85 doesn't come close to that. The spacing, as we saw on our previous video here, it's cut just a little different on the OG. You have a little more room here on that collar. As I mentioned before, I speculated that it's the wider, so this is more like the TY spec as far as thickness on the midsole, and you can see the BY, it is actually wider, and this is taller. Remember, size 13 though, so don't freak out over that. They are a little scale difference. I did notice, like, the stitching here, you got the space, so it's pretty much on the money. And on the TY, I remember seeing it was a little more narrow on the TY. So more BY spec, I want to say overall with that. Got the embossed wings. This is a little lighter embossed, but you can see it's definitely there. Just pound for pound, I mean, they're really close when you get to the side panels here. You can see the cuts are pretty much on the point. Shape, just a really nice representation of the 1985 shoe. Here it comes up a little higher, and you can see it dips a little lower on the BY. And I'm pretty sure on my TY1, TY factories, it's a little higher cut. So another one of those variances you might see where this is just a little bit of sample from each factory. But again, the nice full grain leather really feels good. I'm going to hit these with some leather conditioner. Haven't conditioned the Royals in a while either, but I did the Chicagos and they felt really good. All right, so we're looking at toe to toe, and it looks really good. It's pretty sleek. The leather here is just cut a little higher. Not saying that it's like a bump, but it's more just angled up. And the slope looks a little longer. It could be from that size 13 to 11 differential. Oh yeah, do mention, size 11 I ordered, but I had gotten the 10.5. I took a gamble on the Chicagos, and they're big, like I mentioned before. So if you guys want these, definitely go a half size down. So these would be a little more roomy, definitely. Let's talk swooshes. The swoosh looks great. It looks really nice. As you can see, it is leather. I meant to mention this in my last video comparison with Vibe, but this is leather, and then you have kind of a nylon finish. It's not made out of leather. That's how the originals were. All of them were kind of like this, kind of flat, smooth. So there's that detail. But yeah, great toe box. I actually took out the shoe tree just because it was kind of pushing. I just had this toe stuffed, so just kind of mock. You can kind of see how it looks next to one another. But I love the black laces. If you guys look back at my original photos when I posted these, they did have the cream colored, which is kind of cool for this, but I just think it looks better with the black ones. And that sample that I had shown you guys earlier in the video. So yeah, I just overall like the black, kind of pops with this, and then tongue tag looks really nice. So, but yeah, as far as, you know, when you're looking at spacing here, this one's actually cut just a little higher. There's always those variances with toe boxes and stuff even on the OGs. One pair might look a little different than the other, but they're very consistent. And you see some retros that look really wonky, but usually with the OGs, didn't have many issues like that. Wings location, as I like talking about the spacing, it's in a nice spot. It's not too far back. I feel like the Retro 85 sits back a little further. And we can see on the BY factory, it sits even closer than the TY1. So just a little closer to that stitch line, but it looks really good. All right, so look at the heel shot and the build here. It looks really good from midsole up to here. I know a couple people didn't like the collar. It looks pretty good, but they could improve it a little bit. It could use a little tweaking, I'll be honest, between those two spots. I think it kind of favors more toward the TY1, but again, that's, you know, it's all preference. If you guys look back to that video, I believe it was closer. This one's a little higher cut, but just as far as shape, maybe I like these just a little better, but that just could be my opinion. And the STP factory, it's kind of rounded and kind of has this kind of similar shape, but yeah, it's a little more wide maybe cut than like the TY1 factory, but overall looks good. What's really good is it's got the structure. It's got nice build, nice straight heel like the OG, and yeah, they're really good. There's a little shorter cut. Remember, it is size 13. Got a nice scuff here. Maybe somebody was skateboarding in these back in the 80s. Who knows? But yeah, it's got some flaws definitely. They are used, but nice for comparison. The blues are not too far off either, to be honest. But yeah, just a really cool colorway. I just love these. And we're going to do a quick shot. We'll look at the outsoles next. So that's a good example of some oxidation on the outsole of the original 1985. You can see there's a good amount of stars left, but you can even see where they're not really buzzed down, that they're smaller, a little flatter, more pronounced, like some of the later retros. But width-wise, it's good, you know. It's size 11 to 13, if you're going to recall, just to make sure that, you know, the scaling might be a little different. But yeah, this is definitely more narrow, and this is just a little bigger, I think, for the size reflection. But yeah, they look, that's a nice outsole. It's a good blue, and you know, all the tooling that you'd want to see in a reproduction of a 1985 release. All right, before we wrap it up, I do want to mention, since these are worn, you might think they curve a little bit, probably from being worn, but they're still, you can still see the sleekness, but overall shape, these are very leveled off. So just keep that in mind also when you're looking at something that's vintage and has been worn compared to something that's newly crafted. But yeah, again, I love these. I really strongly recommend. If you guys want them, go a half size down. Don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram at OG or Bust, and we'll see you next time.